The MAGA movement has always been built on hypocrisy, on shameless lying, and of course on that phrase that rings so true: every Republican accusation is an admission of the truth about themselves. And nowhere is that clearer than in what Elon Musk just did. Now, over the weekend, we saw J.D. Vance lecture pretty much the entire world at the Munich Security Conference that conservatives, Republicans, they don't have enough of a platform. Their speech is being suppressed, he said as the Vice President of the United States. But that hypocrisy really played out because while MAGA demands they need more free speech, Elon is now threatening to jail journalists. Yes, you heard me correctly. Jail journalists. And we are going to get into all that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into Elon's threat, I think we first have to hear, unfortunately, a bit of JD's speech to get a sense of that hypocrisy.
We gather at this conference, of course, to discuss security. And normally, we mean threats to our external security. I see many great military leaders gathered here today. But while the Trump administration is very concerned with European security and believes that we can come to a reasonable settlement between Russia and Ukraine, and we also believe that it's important in the coming years for Europe to step up in a big way to provide for its own defense, the threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs.
So my ears didn't deceive me, and I wanted to make sure that y'all were able to hear the same thing. JD is saying that other countries, they're suppressing free speech. Republicans don't have enough of a platform. Donald Trump is president. Elon Musk controls Twitter. Facebook and Instagram are in Donald Trump's pocket, along with TikTok. Fox is the biggest cable outlet. Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, they have the biggest podcasts in the world. But no, Republicans don't have a big enough platform, and their speech is being suppressed. It's not Donald Trump barring the AP from the White House press corps. That's suppression of free speech. It's Republicans being held accountable when they say racist things. And even when they do say racist things, like one of Elon Musk's Dogebags, one of his lackeys celebrating racism, saying he was doing it before it was cool, sure, he gets fired for half a second, then he gets rehired. That's the suppression of free speech. It's also ridiculous. It's also nonsensical. And it makes what Elon Musk just did that much worse. Let's take a look. Elon Musk says 60 Minutes' staffers deserve a long prison sentence in response to show's interview with a GOP Doge critic. Elon Musk accused the staff of CBS's 60 Minutes of being the biggest liars in the world on Sunday and declared they deserve a long prison sentence. Musk made the chilling post on X in reply to a 60 Minutes tweet promoting its latest episode. President Trump says USAID is rife with fraud, but a Republican former administrator of USAID calls that utter nonsense, saying USAID is the most accountable aid agency in the world. Read the 60 Minutes post, which linked to a clip from the show's interview with him. He's been a prominent defender of USAID as a key national security tool around the world and has publicly refuted Musk's claim that DOGE needed to shutter the agency to stop widespread fraud and wasteful spending. Musk replied and wrote, 60 Minutes are the biggest liars in the world. They engaged in deliberate deception to interfere with the last election. They deserve a long prison sentence. Musk shared a clip from 60 Minutes' interview with Kamala Harris during the election as part of his post. President Donald Trump has long railed against 60 Minutes for having edited its interview with Kamala Harris. Trump eventually sued CBS over the interview, which resulted in both CBS and the FCC releasing the full transcript and unedited version of the interview. Mediaite's Colby Hull dug through all the released material and argued that CBS did everything right. After careful review, I can confirm why CBS complied with the FCC's demands. The footage and transcripts reveal that 60 Minutes followed the standard operating procedure that any news outlet would in an edited tape interview with a high-profile subject for air. Hall concluded, rebuffing Trump's claims that the interview was somehow deceptively edited to make Harris look better. So Elon Musk, the champion of free speech, a free speech absolutist, in his own words, is now saying that 60 Minutes staffers should go to jail for platforming someone who is an expert in the agency that he tried to and might successfully shut down. Criticizing his action coming from a place of expertise. That person being put on air is worthy of jail time for staffers at 60 Minutes. The free speech absolutist said that. Doesn't get more hypocritical than that. After what we saw from J.D. Vance, after what we hear from Elon Musk all the time, does it get more hypocritical than that? I really can't imagine it does. But this is what it's all about, the intimidation. Sure, Donald Trump knows that Kamala Harris's interview with 60 Minutes was edited as any other interview would be. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's so crazy he can't even understand that because he's always so mad, and he's still furious that she humiliated him in front of tens of millions of people in their first and last debate. He wouldn't do another one because he was scared. But no matter what, they edited the interview because interviews get edited down. Donald Trump isn't suing because of that. He is suing so the media knows that he is always willing to dispense however many lawyers and however much pressure he can as president to get them to fall in line. And largely they have, because this is corporate media that they're dealing with. So they will fall in line because they have bigger corporate interests at play here. That is what Elon is trying to do. That's what Trump's trying to do. They're trying to run the government like a mob boss. It is all about intimidation, and it's also all about distraction from their failures, which we see countless of them every single day almost. That is what this is all about, distraction and intimidation. That is the Trump administration. And it's something that AOC articulated really well, and a really great takedown of Elon as well, in a clip that I want to check out right here.
Because mind you, the Pentagon has not passed an audit. The Pentagon fails their audit all the time and has yet to pass an audit. But this is where they're getting their bread buttered. So they want you to think that it's the viejita who's getting Medicaid, who's getting her insulin paid for on Medicaid, that is the waste, because what they don't want you to do is to look at U.S. defense spending, particularly defense contractors, and even in that under area of defense contractors, their defense contracts. Microsoft, Amazon, a lot of these AI initiatives, defense contracts, which, by the way, should not be legal. And we saw this. We saw some of the early use of AI being used in war, which in a way should absolutely be illegal. Robots make mistakes, and if you accidentally bomb a building or just bomb a building indiscriminately without proper human oversight, which, by the way, we saw initially tested on Palestinians in Gaza, but that's not going to stop there. If you allow that to continue, it can continue. So anyways, what they don't want you to look at is their defense contracts. Also, Amazon, Microsoft, their integrations with ICE and immigration, as well. I'm going to get to these things, but we have to lay out the full landscape, okay? So if we want to know what the motivation is, why this is happening, understand that it is deeply tied to the deadline that billionaires and the rich are confronting right now this year in 2025. And what they want to do is suspend the actual assistance that you receive, whether it is through education, whether it's through healthcare, etc. They want to suspend that and gut that in order to finance their own public looting and public coffers, okay? So when you see these plane crashes, when you see the disruptions with air traffic controllers and things like this, or when you see all this stuff that's happening at the FAA, understand, again, this happened, and what happened, the FAA administrator was on leave. He had retired. Why? Because he had challenged SpaceX and wanted to find SpaceX. So understand, when you see all of this stuff happening, it's not all random overwhelm. It's about the money. Immigration, these massive expansions on immigration, they want you to believe that they're only going after criminals. They're going after everybody. They even arrested Puerto Ricans. They're going after everybody. And understand that this is how indiscriminate they are being. And they are doing this because also, you know who finances a lot of Republican campaigns? The private prison industry. They know that they actually can't deport all of these people at once in one go. And what do when you grab someone off the street but you can't deport them for a long time? You build private prison camps. And this is we already saw them start to do that. And this is, especially with passage of certain legislation, this is what it's set to do. Okay? So understand the central motivations.
We have to make clear what these guys are trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. Call it out. Be very clear and direct about it. It's the only way we are going to message against it in this tremendous disadvantage we are at in a media environment dominated by Republicans, with CEOs putting their thumb on the scale for Donald Trump and conservative voices supporting him. The same conservative voices, I've been told by J.D. Vance, are being suppressed. But when has he ever been right about anything? Except for when he said Donald Trump would be a dictator a couple of years ago. That's what he was right about. Since then, batting average has plummeted. But we'll call him out. That's what we're going to be doing on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.